The apex predator just breached containment, and the human maintenance technician is walking toward it with a sandwich. Station Commander Zillax stared at the security feed, his primary manipulators frozen over the evacuation controls. This couldn't be happening. The Korvath Prime Stalker, classified as a Class X extinction threat across 47 documented encounters, was loose in the central hub. And the human, Emma Johnson, their maintenance technician of exactly 3 weeks, was strolling directly into its path with her lunch and those ridiculous audio devices in her ears. "Get her out!" Zillax roared into the comm system. "Security Team 7, intercept the human before—" The Korvath turned, its 6 eyes locked onto Emma's position. The creature's armored plates shifted, revealing the bioluminescent threat display that preceded every recorded kill. 12 feet of pure death incarnate, telepathic immune, capable of shredding battle armor with its crystalline claws. According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. Senior xenobiologist Kale Thas burst into the command center. Status: catastrophic. The Korvath is 60 meters from a human. Zillax pulled up the species file with trembling appendages. 23 trained xenobiologists evacuated. Armed response teams can't get a clear shot, and she's just walking. Emma pulled out one earbud, noticed something ahead, and stopped. She looked up at the Korvath charging toward her at 40 kilometers per hour. She sighed, annoyed. "No," Kalthas whispered, "she needs to run." "Why isn't she running?" The Korvath closed the distance. 30 meters. 20. Its threat display intensified, bathing the corridor in crimson warning light. Every biological instinct across 400 known species screamed the same message. Flee. Emma set down her sandwich. "She's going to die," Zillax said, unable to look away from the screen. "We're about to watch a human die, and I have no idea how to explain this to the Terran embassy." 15 meters. Emma put 2 fingers in her mouth and whistled. The sound was sharp, piercing, completely different from any communication protocol in the galactic database. It cut through the station's alarm klaxons like a blade through void. The Korvath stopped, complete, absolute stillness. Its claws, millimeters from scoring the deck plating, hovered mid-strike. The threat display flickered, confused. Every biosensor on the station recorded the impossible. The Predator's aggression response had simply turned off. "What," Kalthas said slowly, "in the name of the first creators just happened?" Emma made a clicking sound with her tongue. The Korvath's head tilted 15 degrees clockwise, a gesture never documented in 50 years of observation. She whistled again, different tone, lower pitch, with a strange rhythm. The Korvath sat. "I'm checking the containment field," Zillax announced, manipulators flying across his console. "There must be residual dampening energy affecting its neural pathways. The field is completely inactive," his tactical officer reported. "Has been since the breach." Emma walked up to the Korvath. Every species in the command center held their collective breath. She reached out. They all saw it happening. Nobody could believe it was happening, and scratched behind the creature's armored crest. The Korvath made a sound. "Did it just—" Kalthas leaned closer to the audio feed. "Did it just purr?" Emma broke off a piece of her sandwich and offered it to the Predator. The Korvath took it delicately, its crystalline claws somehow gentle, and consumed it in 2 bites. Then it looked at her expectantly. "I need to contact High Command," Zillax said faintly. "I need to contact High Command right now because I have absolutely no protocol for what I'm witnessing." Emma patted the Korvath on what might have been its shoulder. "Come on, big guy, let's get you back home." The apex predator, the galaxy's most feared Death World species, followed her like an oversized puppy. "Security Team 7, Zillax managed, hold position. Do not, under any circumstances, interfere with whatever this is." Emma walked casually toward the containment sector, the Korvath trailing 3 steps behind her. When she turned left at an intersection, it turned left. When she paused to adjust her tool belt, it paused. When she hummed something, a distinctly human melody, its tail swayed in rhythm. This violates every known principle of xenobiology, Kael'thas muttered, running diagnostics on his neural interface. Korvath Prime stalkers don't follow. They hunt, they kill, or they retreat to territory. There is no fourth option. Apparently there is, Zilax's tactical officer observed, and the human just discovered it. Emma reached the containment entrance and waved her maintenance credentials over the panel. The reinforced door slid open. She stepped inside and turned around. The Korvath hesitated at the threshold. Emma clicked her tongue twice. The predator entered its containment unit. She scratched behind its crest again, whispered something the audio pickups couldn't catch, and stepped back out. The door sealed. Through the transparent aluminum barrier, they could see the Korvath settle onto its resting platform, completely calm. Someone, Zilax said carefully, needs to debrief that human. Now. 5 minutes later, Emma stood in the command center, still holding her sandwich, looking confused by all the attention. "Ms. Johnson," Zilax began, trying to keep his voice steady. "Can you explain what just happened?" Emma blinked. "The big scaly guy got loose. I walked him back. Is there a problem?" "The big scaly guy," Kael'thas said slowly, "is a Class X extinction threat. It killed 6 researchers on its origin world. Containment failures on other stations resulted in billions of credits in damage and 17 fatalities." "Oh," Emma looked back at the security feed showing the now peaceful Korvath. "He didn't seem that dangerous. Just scared." "Scared?" Kael'thas's voice climbed an octave. "That species doesn't experience fear. They're apex predators. Their neural structure doesn't support defensive emotional responses." Emma laughed. "Everything gets scared when it's lost in a strange place. He probably freaked out when the containment door malfunctioned, panicked, and just wanted to find somewhere safe." Zilax pulled up the attack footage. "This is what scared looks like to you. Full threat display, aggression postures, charging at 40 kilometers per hour? Well, yeah," Emma pointed at the screen. "See how his tail was doing that twitchy thing? And his plates weren't fully extended. They were vibrating. That's not attack behavior, that's anxiety behavior. He was asking if I was safe, not trying to hurt me." "Asking?" Kael'thas stared at her. "With what communication method?" "Body language?" Emma said it like a question, confused why this wasn't obvious. "I mean, I grew up on a ranch, worked with horses, dogs, cattle. You learn to read what animals are trying to tell you. Those are domesticated Earth species with millions of years of co-evolution with humans," Zilax protested. "The Korvath evolved on a planet 17,000 light-years from Earth. There is no possible commonality." Emma shrugged. "I don't know what to tell you. He was scared. I calmed him down. He went back to his room. Same thing I'd do with a spooked horse." "And the whistling?" Kael'thas demanded. "Different whistles mean different things. High, sharp one means stop and pay attention. Lower one means calm down, you're safe. It's not complicated." Zilax and Kael'thas exchanged glances. "Ms. Johnson," Zilax said carefully, "would you be willing to demonstrate this ability on our other problematic specimens?" Emma checked her schedule. "Sure, I guess. After I fix the air filter in Section 7, though, that's kind of urgent." 2 hours later, Emma stood in front of 3 containment units housing the station's most dangerous residents. Zilax had assembled the entire xenobiology department to observe. "This is impossible," Dr. Vexia, a specialist in Deathworld fauna, muttered. "She can't possibly—" Emma whistled at the Crixon Ravager, a creature that had hospitalized 4 handlers. It stopped its aggressive pacing and approached the barrier. She made a low humming sound. The Ravager's combat spines retracted. She held up her hand, palm out. The Ravager mimicked the gesture with its primary manipulator. "What is she doing?" Vexia demanded. I think, Kael'thas said faintly, she's saying hello. Emma moved to the second containment unit. The void serpent, a species that had never shown anything but hostility and captivity, was coiled in the corner. She tapped a rhythm on the glass. The serpent's head rose following the pattern. She changed the rhythm. The serpent swayed, matching it. She's playing with it, Zilax observed. How is she playing with it? It likes patterns, Emma called back. You can tell by how it arranges its coils. It's bored, not aggressive, probably needs more enrichment in its environment. Enrichment? Vexia looked scandalized. It's a void serpent, not a recreational species. Emma moved to the third unit. The nightmare hound, officially classified as unmanageable, was pacing in aggressive figures of 8. She watched it for 30 seconds, then turned to Zilax. This one's actually angry, she said. Something's wrong in its environment. Yes, Zilax agreed. It's been angry since it arrived 4 months ago. No, I mean something's physically wrong. Emma checked the environmental controls. The temperature's too high. See how it keeps moving to that corner? That's the coolest spot. And the lighting's too bright. You're basically torturing it. Kael'thas pulled up the habitat specifications. These settings are precisely calibrated for its home world's environment. For its planet's equator, maybe, Emma said. But I bet it comes from a higher latitude or elevation. Drop the temp by 8 degrees and dim the lights by 40%. That will take 17 authorization codes. Just do it, Zilax interrupted. The changes took 3 minutes. The nightmare hound immediately stopped pacing, moved to its resting platform, and laid down. Complete silence filled the observation room. It's been 4 months, Vexia whispered. 4 months of trying everything, and she just... Emma pulled out her tablet. Okay, air filter time. Good luck with your research stuff. Wait, Kael'thas blocked her path. You can't just... Ms. Johnson, you've just demonstrated abilities that contradict 50 years of xenobiological study. We need to understand how you're doing this. Emma looked genuinely confused. I'm just... reading them? Like their body language says what they need. The Korvoth was scared. The Ravager was lonely. The Serpent was understimulated. The Hound was uncomfortable. It's not complicated. Yes, it is, Kael'thas insisted. We have entire institutes dedicated to understanding these species. Teams of experts with decades of training, and you're telling me you just look at them and know. I mean, yeah. Emma scratched her head. Don't you guys have pets or anything? Pets, Zilax repeated. You know, animals you keep because you like them? Dogs, cats, birds. We have domesticated service species, Vexia said carefully, bred over millennia for specific tasks and compliance. Emma's eyes widened. Wait, you've never just made friends with an animal for fun? Predatory species don't form friendships with prey species, Kael'thas explained patiently. That's basic evolutionary biology. Emma pulled out her phone and showed them a picture. This is my dog, Charlie. This is my cat, Mist. This is my horse, Tornado. Humans are technically predators. We have forward-facing eyes and everything. The xenobiologists stared at the images. Your planet, Zilax said slowly, is classified as a death world. Yeah, but it's not that bad, Emma said. I mean, once you make friends with stuff. The emergency council meeting convened within the hour. Emma sat at a conference table surrounded by the galaxy's leading xenobiologists, including High Council Representative Jotaro, who'd arrived via quantum link from the Central Worlds. Let me understand this correctly, Jotaro said, his holographic form flickering with barely contained agitation. The human maintenance technician has successfully calmed 4 separate Class X species using methods that don't appear in any galactic database? She whistled at them, Zilax confirmed, and they responded. Whistling isn't telepathic, another council member protested. It's not pheromonal. It carries no data structure we can identify. It's just sound. It's not about the sound, Emma tried to explain. It's about the intent behind it and reading their responses, like a conversation. But you're not speaking their language, Kael'thas pointed out. Neither are you, Emma countered, but you're not trying to communicate with them. You're trying to communicate at them. There's a difference. Jotaro leaned forward. Explain this difference. Emma thought for a moment. Okay, so when the Korvath got loose, what was your plan? Sedation via distance weapons, Zilax said. Standard containment breach protocol. Right. You were going to knock it out and drag it back. You never considered asking it to go back. You can't ask a Korvath anything. It's not sentient. It's not sapient, Emma corrected, but it's definitely sentient. It feels things. Fear, curiosity, contentment. You can see it if you watch. Like when I scratched its crest, it leaned into the touch. That's pleasure response. Universal across pretty much every species with nerve endings. Vexia pulled up comparative neurological scans. The structural similarities between Earth fauna and galactic species are purely coincidental evolution. Maybe, Emma agreed, but emotions aren't that different. Fear looks like fear. Aggression looks like aggression. Contentment looks like contentment. The body language changes, but the fundamentals are the same. This is impossible, another council member declared. You're suggesting humans have some innate ability to communicate with species they've never encountered? I'm suggesting, Emma said patiently, that humans grew up with predators. Earth has lions, bears, wolves, tigers, sharks, crocodiles, you name it. And we survived by learning to understand them, to predict their behavior, to know when they're hunting versus when they're just existing near us. Jotaro's expression shifted. Your species learned to coexist with apex predators? Well, yeah. And then we domesticated some of them. Dogs evolved from wolves. Cats basically domesticated themselves. Humans have been living alongside dangerous animals for our entire evolutionary history. We had to learn to read them or we died. The council chamber fell silent. Show us, Jotaro finally said. Emma spent the next hour demonstrating her methods across 17 different species. She used whistles for some, clicks for others, specific hand gestures for species that relied on visual communication. With the Korvath, she played something that looked suspiciously like fetch. With the Void Serpent, she created increasingly complex patterns that it eagerly mimicked. With the Nightmare Hound, she simply sat quietly until it approached the barrier on its own. I've worked with Nightmare Hounds for 12 years, Vexia said quietly. I never knew they could be curious. Everything's curious if it feels safe, Emma replied. That's like basic mammalian psychology, or whatever the equivalent is for non-mammals. Kael'thas looked at his colleagues. We've been approaching xenobiology from a position of fear, maintaining distance, treating these species as dangerous subjects to be controlled rather than intelligent beings to be understood. To be fair, Emma said, they are dangerous. The Korvath could absolutely kill me if it wanted to, but it doesn't want to because I'm not threatening it. We're just coexisting. Jotaro made a decision. Ms. Johnson, the Galactic Council formally requests your consultation on establishing new xenobiological protocols. Your compensation will be— Can I still fix air filters? Emma interrupted. Everyone stared at her. What? I like fixing things. 3 months later, Station K447 had become the galaxy's premier xenobiology research facility. Emma still fixed air filters, but now she wore 2 badges, maintenance technician and chief xenobiology consultant. No, Emma said, watching Zilax attempt a whistle. You have to mean it. The Ravager can tell you're not confident. Zilax tried again. The Crixin Ravager looked at him with what might have been pity, then turned back to Emma. She whistled. The Ravager immediately perked up. How are you doing that? Zilax demanded. I believe I'm making the sound, Emma said with exaggerated seriousness. You're making a sound. There's a difference. Kael'thas, now co-authoring a paper titled Predator Empathy, Reconsidering Interspecies Communication, watched Emma teach basic whistle commands to a class of xenobiologists. Half of them were failing spectacularly. The problem, he observed, is that most species evolved without predatory threats. We don't have instincts for reading aggression versus fear because we never needed them. Yeah, Earth was kind of intense, Emma admitted. She tossed a ball down the corridor. The Korvath, now on daily exercise walks, bounded after it and returned it to her hand. Good boy, who's a good interdimensional killing machine? You are. The Korvath's tail wagged. They discovered it had a tail exactly 4 days after Emma's arrival. Vexia approached with a data pad. 17 research. Stations have requested human handlers. Earth's diplomatic corps reports having 12,000 qualified candidates with backgrounds in animal behavior, veterinary medicine, and wildlife rehabilitation. Wait, Emma said, 12,000? Apparently, your planet has entire professions dedicated to this skill set. Emma laughed. Well, yeah, we have a lot of animals. An alert chimed. Another containment breach, this time at a facility 3 systems away. Before Zilax could initiate evacuation protocols, his comm lit up with a simple message. Is the human available for emergency consultation? Emma sighed, checked her schedule. I can do a video call. What species? Vexthul Pack Hunter, Class X, 3 specimens. Oh, those are easy. They just need consistent leadership and clear boundaries. Give me 5 minutes. She walked off, still carrying her maintenance tools, the Korvath trailing behind her hopefully. Zilax updated his station log. Day 147, Human Revolutionized Galactic Xenobiology, established new scientific paradigm, prevented 43 potential fatalities, and still considers herself primarily a maintenance technician. She's currently worried about a squeaky door in Section 9. The Korvath is worried she might stop throwing its ball. Neither of them understands they've changed everything. Down the corridor, Emma's voice echoed back. Zilax, do we have more of those treats? The Ravager really likes them. Also, I think the Void Serpent might need a bigger pool. He's getting long. The galaxy, Zilax reflected, would never be the same. And the human just wanted to fix the squeaky door.